What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the RSL. We had a quick 3-0. Cure just decimating Shin. We're going to be going into Zoun versus Reynor now. Hopefully, this is a closer one.
Yeah, I got high hopes for this series. Reynor, his ZvP has been really impressive. Even taking down Classic. Best Protoss player in the world, reigning RSL champion Tasteless, looking for the first ever repeat in RSL history. And Zoun, he's a little bit of a wild card. You never know exactly what you're going to get with Zoun.
Oh, we're smurging, Pappy. We're smurging.
He's a top 3 Protoss
Let's
player in the world.
go.
On some days it feels like
Evil Hearts?
he's maybe not quite up to snuff, but one thing you can guarantee is that year by year, month by month, day by day, he's getting better and better. You know, he keeps elevating his gameplay. This is a guy who, for a very long time, was struggling to get...
Yes, and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second series, the final series of the broadcast. Again, only 2 best of 5s. Only 2 best of 5s here in today's RSL. Looks like we have our Vetoes in Killswitch, Persephone, Ultralove, Evil Heart, and Leylines. I have no idea what Evil Heart entails. I've not been able to see any matches on them, so I'm very excited to be able to delve into some Evil Heart action. I'm hoping we get to at least Game 4. Hoping we can get there. Hoping we can. But yes, the smudge is real. It's beautiful. Let's go.
Okay, it's going to be Zoun here in the center right. Reynor here in the center left. Zoun has played a decent amount of slow PvZs lately. And it does feel like PvZ
And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is.
Is in a kind of a...
It's Gamba time. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets in the chat for who you think will claim this series. Will it go the way of Reynor? Will it go the way of Zoun? Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat.
Stargate tech. You know, there's ways to basically... And, you know, Stargate tech can mean a lot of different things.
Done. We're done with it. Yes, they... It's like, and left, we go Reynor. Center right, we go Zoun. The hell's happening?
A lot of these games, it feels like...
Oh, screw Basilisk and Vitality. True. Who cares what team they're on? Who cares?
And then you get into the carriers, and then they really try to take some fights where the Zerg just doesn't trade well. And
so this is where I will talk about the map, especially because this is an older TLMC 20 map. For those that maybe who have not tuned in before, this is Killswitch. Killswitch was a part of the kind of like the cutoff. I say cutoff. One of the finalists of TLMC 20, the most recent Team Liquid map contest. Didn't quite make it into the ladder, but did make it into the top 16. And a lot of tournaments were played on this map. It is very unique. It is very quirky. We have Zoun towers in the main base, which are blocked off by mineral patches. They have to mine through. So you have to mine through mineral patches, get into Zonaga towers. We do have these centralized slow zones. We have these towers that destroy the slow zones as well. There is so much to talk about when it comes to the map. I don't know why we're not.
Timing, as we have seen in PvZs in RSL Season 1.
Like, this map is crazy.
As a result, kind of has to respect that.
We got a mineral wall heading into the third and another big mineral wall heading into the northern side of the map as well. Very short rush distance by ground.
Where the Protoss player basically almost dies.
Like, there's a lot.
Amount of stalkers they can leverage to win.
But sure, let's just talk about general ZvP.
You move across the map after defending, and you're suddenly at the Zerg's 10-15 seconds. So
like, this map is crazy.
There is a lot of potential for aggression, but so far on both sides, very standard openings.
Yeah.
So
Getting expand Cybercore.
We'll have an idea of what kind of tech it's going to be in a little bit here. And we don't know if it's slow play or not. I think, to your point, State, you might be right. On this map specifically, this is kind of engineered to create fights early on, which I welcome. I think we had a lot of, like, hardcore macro.
See here, you can see the slow zones and the destructible towers.
If there's the potential for some kind of
like, the third base is so hard to take on Killswitch. I'm shocked this map made it through the Vetoes. I'm shocked. Aggression is hyper favored on this map.
But this base is going to be tucked away in the upper left, not in the triangle expansion.
Yeah, Reynor actually taking, in my opinion, the best defensive option for an expansion pattern here.
You have to set up for it, though.
Which is he's going to be looking to mine out the mineral wall between the natural expansion and the third base. He eventually here, Zoun, not actually going to be not going to be finishing that shade. Instead, goes for the cancel. Looks like Reynor is already getting to work on that mineral wall, the natural expansion, and Zoun, eyes on him as we reach 330. It's not going to be the one-gate third base, the incredibly greedy economic build that a lot of Protoss players have been doing in PvZ lately. Instead, Zoun just showing a little bit more respect, playing the map. Going to be going for the second gateway and just slowly building up to that third. As far as Zoun is concerned, there is no confirmation there's even a third hatchery yet for Reynor, though he is certainly expecting there to be one. So I like this decision to play it
You
safe.
see, we even have slow zones going into the main base as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. And when you don't see that hatchery, there's a lot of uncertainty about the whole.
Faster Eva Chamber plus 1 melee out of Reynor.
Identifying where the third hatch.
That's an earlier Twilight Council. Wait, that's a Twilight Council without a third base. That's hyper aggression out of Zoun.
He's gonna find it in a second. You know, there's only so many.
No third Nexus.
And he'll have to confirm.
This is either hyper early Blink or early Glaives.
Still, just seeing it gives us a piece of.
But
mind
Zoun is
about
not playing standard.
exactly what information he's working with. So the Twilight Council's coming.
Yeah,
And,
it's early.
To what you were saying, State, like, yeah, this is a pretty safe spot.
It's early.
We'll see if Protoss tries to attack in there or not.
What are we going
But
for?
Zoun's taking
Early
his
Blink?
third base.
Insanely early
You know,
Blink.
we basically always have 3-base Protoss now.
Now, based on the early Blink timing, we could go up to 8 gateways and turn this into a 3-base 8-gate all-in. Regardless, because Blink is so early, Zoun, his goal should at least be to break the 4th.
Behind it is very interesting. He went for Twilight Council before third.
Yes,
You
State he
basically never
notices.
see that in PBZ. And there's no Forge as well. We have 3 more gateways coming in.
Yeah.
4 more gateways. So we're
That's why
already
I'm
going
leaning
to
towards
6
8 gate
gateways
3-base all-in.
League. Pro production is still continuing, but this is starting to look like Zoun is going to be going for some kind of mid-game. I don't want to say all-in because you can potentially transition out of it, but effectively
Yeah, he's
all-in,
going for the 8 gate
especially as
3-base
he
all-in.
adds in additional gateways here.
Again, the early Blink was a tell.
He's going to be trying to gear up here with.
It's
these
okay,
guys.
State. You can say it because that's what it is. You can
Do we? We don't even have a
It's fine,
robo,
State. You
right?
can say
No
it.
Robo,
Okay,
no
just making
Forge.
sure.
7 gate Blink.
Okay, there.
8 gate. The 8th gateway is going to be a proxy in the center of the map.
And he's going to basically create a push.
This was very popular, like maybe 2 years ago. It was very popular. I say even last year, like early Ultra Love days.
Here on the mini map, but where Zerg's pushing, there's just no way that you can actually hold that.
Yeah, and it's critical that Reynor finds out exactly what is happening. He's getting +1 melee weapons, which is going to be very helpful in dealing with this, but up until this point, he did not know that there was going to be a proxy.
Yeah, now it is.
Alarm bells are going to be ringing. All the gateways are done here for Zoun. Stasis traps are getting deployed here in a defensive position to try and slow down. And not the best connections there with the stasis traps. I think Zoun would have liked to get a little bit more in terms of the lings. Blink not done just yet either, so a lot of these stalkers actually follow.
Yeah, it gets a little stalkers.
This is a very momentum-based timing attack from Zoun. You don't want to lose any of these stalkers, so the fact that Reynor was even able to snipe a couple of them.
State, he keeps calling it timing. He doesn't want to commit to calling it all-in. It is an all-in. If this fails, Zoun will fall far behind.
A lot of this is just relying
He has
on
to end the
being
game.
able to blink and then having a little bit of extra hull damage that you can kind of fudge if you miss micro. Fudge the micro if you're not perfect at control. He's going to come up.
Like, remember, Zoun, he's not making probes. He's at 48 workers, no forge, no further tech, no splash damage, no nothing. Just pure Blink Stalker.
Go down immediately. The creep is now going to spread over to this position, which is going to give a lot more of a runway for the next couple of attacks to come in here. The corrosive biles are going to eliminate the surface area to lay down traps and position stalkers in. And, you know, it seems like Zoun's trying to kind of slide up the side. Again, it's a lot of stalkers. Many are bruised. The hatch is low. I think Reynor
Does get the 4th.
He's going to lose the 3rd hatchery, or the 4th hatchery, excuse me, but
That's
still
fine.
things are not looking that good here for Zoun. I think a lot
Like,
of
Zoun has to keep going. Again, he's all in, Pappy. He's going to keep going.
Blink less than 10 seconds away from completion, and now Reynor potentially looking for a counterattack here at the 3rd base.
Roach
also
Warren.
potentially eyeing that one gateway in the middle of the map as he re-expands to the 11 o'clock position.
Gets
and
the
Zoun,
Warren.
now this is a better angle for him to attack into, although
Nice
as
choke
he
point.
loses vision on the top of this ramp, not the best connections there with the stalkers. He is going to be blinking back. Vials also forcing
Lings are going
him to
down.
try and retreat even more. It's a beautiful
Can he come up with the
blockade here
Ravagers?
for Protoss.
The Ravagers!
But
The Seraph, he's going in!
Have enough
He's
to
not
take this
blinking!
fight. These stars
Go
are
for
so
it!
low on HP. It's actually
Go
starting to
for the
turn into
blink!
Zoun favor tasteless.
Yeah, the roach
Go for the dive! Zoun, he's doing it!
But you could see there was no more probes made.
He's so close.
This wasn't like I'm attacking you, but I'm also trying to defend. This is really very much.
Yeah, there it is. There's the blink.
The confidence is shown with the blink in here from the stalkers. The
4
drones have
Ravagers.
been pulled. The stalker
3,
count
2,
appears to be just
1.
too high. The
0.
Lings are getting a decent amount of
0
surface area, but
Ravagers.
there's not much else here to fight
But the
stalkers
Lings.
for the time being.
Oh my god.
And, you know, the drones, the Lings continuing to go down. Now hold on a second, actually. Did
Zoun, he was so close. He was so
Yeah,
close.
I think that might have been a little bit ambitious, especially the second follow-up blink is Zoun just basically lost every single stalker.
Yeah,
he has to
that's-
restart now.
You know, I didn't appreciate when I saw that blink in. I thought, okay, well, he just knows he's got this. But yeah, you know, now the roaches can be remade, so the window in which it's only Lings is going to be gone.
And one of the key reasons why Zoun was able to have such a favorable fight was because he sniped that Roach Warren. Reynor for a very long time was floating money because if you can only produce Lings, you only have so much larva, right? You can't actually spend everything. And so there was this moment where Reynor, his economy was
And Reynor, he weathered the storm. He weathered the storm. He made it.
And waiting for the Roachhorn to be there to
just needs more Lings. He'll be fine.
As a result, Reynor is once more power spiking. So Zoun maybe overplayed his hand a little bit there with the aggressive Links. And now with Reynor back up at full steam, I
still feel like he could have aggressively blinked a little bit earlier when he was pushing up the ramp initially. But Zoun, he was being very tentative. He lost his moment. He lost his moment.
Really bad, and it kind of ended. When it looked like it was at the tipping point, where maybe he could still take it, it ended poorly. The blink in like that was a mistake. When you've killed the Roachhorn, they can only make Lings. That's not when you blink it. You really want to blink on top of them when it's like Ravagers that are running away, or a small number of Roaches and Queens, and you kind of come in there with that killing blow. Instead, it's like he killed the Roachhorn, he blinked in, and now this is great for the drones and the Lings. They are right. They've literally. You've let yourself be surrounded at that point in time by melee units.
Yeah, I can't even really... the first blink in wasn't that bad, all things considered.
I would say that, again, as you're mentioning, there was an earlier timing where he could have blinked aggressively forward on top of the Ravagers, but he missed it. And because he waited so long, like, that's when the Ling reinforcements came in, the boys were pulled, of course. Guts around it. And now Reynor just runs away with this. Because again, it was an all-in. When the all-in fails, like, there's a reason why we call it an all-in, Pappy. Reason why. Because it's all or nothing, and now there's nothing.
Kite with,
nothing left.
Like things are going to fall apart very quickly. You can see Reynor getting ready with these. Oh yeah, the moment there's a
it
big
comes in for the surround.
Coming with a Lings, get a full surround.
Let's go.
Here for Reynor.
Oh my god.
This might be the end of the game here. The Stalkers are taking so much damage. They get one blink away, but there's still going to be so much more chipped away at here with the HP. You can see he's continuing to run, but he's going to basically get chased all the way back to his third base, where the Nexus and so many other units can fall. A nice Stasis Ward does stun the army.
Yeah, the Stasis Trap is buying him a lot of extra time, but Reynor just continuing to rally across the map. Another big
crazy.
Down, he knows that it's basically over. So GG is called. Clutch the defense there from Reynor. I like the idea from Zoun a lot. I feel like if we had one more chrono boost on the Twilight Council, if Blink was done when that first engagement happened at the ramp of the fourth base,
it was a really rough start to the all-in. They're referring to when I think we saw like 4 or 5 Stalkers go down.
It's not something you're going to do on Persephone or one of these more standard maps like Ultra Love. You're using that build on Kill Switch. We're not going to see that again here in this best of 5 unless there's some crazy...
Yeah, I don't know if State watched much StarCraft last year, but this build was very popular and was very common on Ultra Love because of the short rush distance by ground. So we see this build on maps like Ultra Love, on maps like Pylon, and on maps like Kill Switch. Kill Switch is hyper aggressive. It's not like that boosts the build even further.
The application of the idea was pretty terrible. I mean, you know,
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit shocked that State is unaware of the 8K 3-base all-in, but just because it was very prevalent for quite some time.
Being punished at all. I mean, this is one of the scary things when the game first came out, was people, I think, imagine Blink like, oh, you're going to go from high ground to low ground. It's like, actually, you can just micro them like this, and then when you get people that are really good at it, you can avoid so much damage that you can snowball a fight. But yeah, I mean, he just took too much of a beating at the start, and even when it looked like he was going to win anyways, he did a dive blink in there. And again, we know there's no Roaches and Ravagers being made. The tech is gone, which means it's literally going to be Lings hatching, which is what happened.
So up next, we have Persephone. Persephone is one of the more quote-unquote standard maps of the map pool. I say standard, it has its own quirks as well, for sure. But I will echo what was just said, how this all-in that we saw to Zoun, it is specialized and it does work best on these rush maps like Kill Switch, like Pylon, like Ultra Love. I don't know what Evil Heart entails. I've no idea. I've never seen that map before, so I can't really speak too much on that map. For now, Persephone.
That economy only producing Lings, right? Especially with the Queens being engaged relatively early on there at the fourth base. I'm not sure how many were actually able to inject or how reliable the injections were, but in any case, Reynor with a clutch defense right there, taking the favorable early engagement, and then fantastic crisis control.
We're going in.
After the push into the natural expansion, able to take game number 1 as we move on to map 2. It will be Persephone, Zoun the blue Protoss in the top left, Reynor the red Zerg in the bottom left.
So
best I can do.
Is Zoun going to have a cleaner game here?
Time to 3-0 so I never sees that map. I want to see it. I want to see Evil Heart. I want to see what's going on. Show me the map, Pappy. I want to
Makes the
see.
adjustments. I think maybe he does win there. But it is kind of a bad sign. The shakiness on that alone is worrisome. You know, I think sometimes when people think of StarCraft, and I think I'm actually one of the people at fault for this, is they think too much of APM. They go, this guy was going so fast, and they imagine that what StarCraft is just a game where you're doing everything really, really fast, and that's how you're good, is you're doing a whole bunch of things at once. And that's true, okay? But the reality is when you're a really good player, you're actually making very, very specific decisions about tech, about expanding, but also about micro. Like, okay, when do I attack? It's not just like I have to attack quickly and I have to be fast. You actually have to attack when the blink upgrade is done. You know, and that was a moment where I almost feel like Zoun was just like going through the motions so quickly and wasn't, you know, checking to confirm that it's the time to make this move. You know, even the blink in, where he surrounded everything with that. Look, that's a fine move, but he didn't even analyze the situation correctly for it to happen. In fact,
I don't think game 1 is indicative of how the rest of the series is going to go, just because that build was so specific, and just because that situation, that game was such a, again, specific all-in that we're probably not going to see, except for another specific map for sure.
I'm worried about him here in game 2. He's going to have a much cleaner game.
And I love that point that you make about APM too, because I feel like this is
See, I don't know if that's like applicable here, but sure, I guess.
Following StarCraft 2 for a very long time, but I feel like this is a misconception of a lot of folks that aren't as clued in or as locked in with StarCraft 2.
I get what Tastes is saying though. He's basically saying that like the decision making and the judgment that Zoun showed in game 1 left much to be desired. Early Twilight Council, by the way.
It's always irked me a little bit. It's a very
We're going for a Twilight Council opener. Okay, Zoun, let's go. Show us what you got. Glaives or DTs? Mapple knows.
Finally, you can unlock your potential.
So, looking at the gases, we can determine whether this is going to be Glaive Adepts or whether it's going to be Dark Templar. We have to pan to the gases first. Reynor has yet to go into the main base, so Reynor has yet to confirm. Neither have we.
They've already unlocked the potential, and so the game less becomes about speed and more becomes about what is the best choice in terms of how do I move my units?
He's staying in
What is
gas.
the best plan in terms of build orders?
We're thinking Dark Templar.
Series. What tactical choice do I make?
Show us. Oh, he's going for Glaives.
All
Is he
these choices are the interesting part.
He's staying in.
Of RTS
Okay,
games.
couple of things. If he's going into Glaive Adepts and if he's keeping 3 and 3 in gas, 6 in total when it comes to mining, this could be Glaive Adepts plus DTs, or it could even be 6 gate Glaive Adepts instead of 4 gate.
Because my opponent has, yeah,
It's like, it's actually
exactly.
not hard to have high APM.
So we need to see the gases. Show us the gases.
Tough. And you go, yeah, they're tough. They're MMA fighters, but that's not why.
Also, Tasteless and State, they're off doing their own thing. Things are going down. This is crazy. Show us the gases.
You know how
Is he committing?
Some of that's my fault.
Or is it just 4
In the early
gate?
days of StarCraft 1, when I get interviewed by press,
Pan to the
or
main.
other people. If I said
He still has. I haven't seen the gas guys all the way on the left though.
eyes glaze over.
So far it's
If I
4
said he
gate,
has 300 APM,
but he's
they
staying
would-
6 and 6.
300
I think.
actions a minute.
Yeah.
And it kind of made this thing sexy that was, you know, otherwise.
So we have
just sort of
Glaives
like
first. That's true, but we have a lot of
I
gas
don't
to
know,
work
just
with.
like another feature of the game. And then when StarCraft 2 came out,
And again,
you know, they
Reynor,
added
he's not gotten
the
in.
meter into the game, and
He doesn't know
some
yet,
guys
Bab.
had
He doesn't know.
500 APM and stuff like that, and it just became kind of a marketing point. Even in the game, like with one of the voice packs, it'll be like, "Oh, you're under attack. Time to up your APM," and it's like, that's not what how this game.
Okay, he's
works.
staying 6.
But yeah. So just wanted to kind of point that out here. To talk about this game for a second, because we're about to get to the most important part.
They're like, "Oh, yo, the game is playing." Yes, it is. It is.
And it's gonna not be
Stay
that again
toastless.
here.
Yeah, and notably, we have a single lone sentry in this War Prison.
Safety Roach
Zoun is
one.
planning on going for a big shade, potentially either into the main
Ah,
base
the
or into
sentry.
a neutral point where he can utilize
Let-
the force
that's
field
cheeky.
and completely lock Reynor out. But we have seen Reynor time and time again be so clutch with a defense. He is very fast going for the wall in right here, just instantly locking in that decision. Now Reynor, I'm not sure if he's going to be expecting
let's go.
this.
He's going
You
for
don't
it.
usually
He's going
see
for the
a
force
sentry with
field.
a movement like
Let's
this one, but
go.
the initial
He
shade
shades
back. Alright,
in.
so the shades, they can move through the force field right now.
He
so actually the lanes
shades.
are not in position.
Oh my
Most of the adepts, in
God.
fact, all the adepts able to get on top of the ramp.
Oh,
the War
the
Prison
prison.
does fall, but the sentry stays alive. And what year is this? I feel like
He
we're
has
actually
another force
wings a little
field.
bit
He
right
keep
now. Oh, that force
going.
field a little bit misplaced.
He can keep
The queen right now is
going.
the unit blocking the gap. Second force field is going to lock
Let's
that down
go.
and now the main base. Oh man, these drones, they are locked in a cage with a lion. Look at these adepts go to work.
Zoun, he's crazy. Now we see what the extra gas was for.
Only 8 have been killed.
And he's going for Immortals behind this.
I think the force,
He's not expanding.
Called it a force fielder, is out of energy.
Yeah, it finally does get taken out, but they basically
13 drones. The spawning, no, he doesn't get it.
Wiped out, and
The
now the
spawning
Adepts
pool.
have shimmied their way with the shade down into the third base. The third base getting vacated of drones, or maybe it was already, but there's nothing to be found here. Reynor all the way down to 30 workers. This is a really cool tactical move from Zoun.
That was
How
wild.
often do we see somebody go for a delayed adept attack like this, kill these drones, and lose all the adepts?
But again, I was curious what the extra gas was going to be for. I thought it was going to be extra gateways or a dark shrine. No, it was for the sentry and for the immortal blink follow-up before the third CC. Oh, sorry, before the third Nexus.
We're going to have a sentry immortal Glaives follow-up push that could absolutely have kill potential. What a cool build from Zoun.
I love it.
That was sick.
So smart. And you know, I thought maybe when Reynor had the Evos set up there to block, he might be ready to kind of deal with this perfectly. But, I mean, Reynor got hit so hard. I don't want to call it too soon because we already did see Reynor, you know, looking like he was on the verge of death and kind of power through it.
I mean, if Reynor lost the spawning pool, I think that would have been game, for sure.
Zoun there. But this looks so straightforward, right, from Zoun. Like, now you've got Immortals. You just need a Warp Prism to come in here with this mix. You're going to have Blink.
Yeah.
The Adepts are going to pair well with
now
this
he's going for the kill.
Army, and you've got enough sentries with this.
Oh.
That
Gets
you can
delayed.
do force fields, you can do guardian shields. You
Force
kinda
warp in
have the
defensively.
ultimate fighting force here at the
No Warp
7.5
Prism?
minute marker.
Oh.
I love what
the
Zoun is
Immortal!
doing right now.
He gets
with
it!
his army movement.
Oh
Okay,
my
maybe not with
God.
this Immortal specifically, but up until this point, are we going to get back in time with the main army?
No, the Prism's too late.
Let's get taken out. But up until this point, the movement was
Barely
fantastic
too
at the center
late.
of the map because Zoun, he was kind of testing the water. He wasn't really ready to move out.
Down to one
but he wanted
Immortal.
to
That's
make Reynor
huge.
think that he was. And as
He's
a result,
taking.
Reynor, look at his worker count. It is barely inched above what it was before because he's basically felt like he needs to pump the gas on producing units this entire time, and that gave Zoun a couple of extra minutes where suddenly Reynor's economy, it's not going to grow past this point. It is way behind.
Okay, nice.
the
Very nice
Protoss.
force fields.
Okay, some nice shots come in.
Wow, it's a
here.
crazy army.
Another huge
Gets surrounded.
surround, and I don't know, man.
Jesus.
I mean, is this really enough here for Protoss? I think the angles were so bad.
Yeah.
The Warp Prism's
The
still in
surround.
the game, but the army's going to be recalled.
Ay, ay,
And
ay.
Reynor, you know, he's just so good at brushing off these bad
The
positions.
pants were down, Papi. The pants were down.
Hitting the Immortal when it was
He got surrounded. He knew where the army was as well. Remember, he was aware of the links towards the top side.
Zoun thought he had a launching pad
He
for an
knew.
attack. Reynor is just so solid.
Oh, I've got a big frown on my face. I feel like things were going so well for Zoun up until that point, but a bit of a botched engagement, and suddenly Reynor is back in this thing, man. He's up to 52 workers, so the economy is mostly equalized. I don't think Reynor has
let's
enough
go.
to actually push through this position.
No!
So a little bit of
Enki!
lag spike there, but we are back. And Reynor, yeah, he is going to retreat
Stay
forward
with
now.
us.
Now, it's still a pretty tough spot. These Blinks forwards are going to potentially take down a lot of Ravagers.
Okay.
The Ravagers are just not great at retreating.
Nice snipes.
Especially when the Blinks come in there. And did Reynor overextend? The counter punch is going to come through here. You know, Stalkers are so great, not just at microing back, but you can keep blinking forward.
Yeah, they're back and forth. That's a lot of roaches going down.
There's so
A lot of
many more
Ravagers as
Stalkers
well.
to come. A larger army supply right now here for Zoun as he's continuing to pick off one by one these roaches.
Yeah, and I feel like the push that's about to occur now is basically what the initial push should have been, as Zoun's army is just through the roof in terms of value. Reynor really feeling the pain of that hindered economy early on as Zoun blinks forward. Reynor recognizes it is over, and we are all tied up 1-1.
Really back and forth games here. I think you got to be very careful how far you counterattack in a moment like that, right? Between a warp.
That was a crazy game. That was crazy. Honestly, really cool build out of Zoun because, again, we cast StarCraft multiple times a day, every single day here. I don't think I've seen a variation of Glaive Adepts with a sentry like that. Where you go into Glaives, you shade, you throw it in the force field, shade does go through a force field, so you can just go easily through, dive into the main base, and just pull your opponent apart. That was very impressive when it came to the build of choice. The aftermath of that was a little bit shaky. Again, Zoun getting caught in the main base, sorry, in the surround in the center of the map was brutal. Zoun losing everything, and then Reynor also, you know, overextended as well. But that was also partially because Reynor had no economy. Reynor, remember, he had 46 workers, he had a very low economy, very low drone count, so all the losses that Reynor was sustaining there was that much worse for Reynor because he could not sustain those losses. So a little bit of a different dynamic there.
Because I don't
in the end, Zoun did overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. Crazy build out of Zoun.
That was kind of like lightning in a bottle, where those
Yeah.
Adepts getting into the main base with a force field, and Reynor, we have seen him both in game 1 and game 2. He will punish your mistakes if you do make them, so bit of a shaky start there for Zoun in this series, but hey, 3 games left to play.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5, currently tied up 1-1.
So when it comes to these games so far, what I'm most excited about is what Zoun is best at. If you're watching, we spoke about this in GSL Season 2, in the most recent season of GSL, regarding Zoun, and that is that Zoun, he was so prepared for his series, for his hero series. Remember, he cannon rushed the hell out of hero. It was crazy. It was great. Zoun was so cheesy. He was so cheeky in GSL. If you missed it, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. But again, like, he was very clearly prepared for every game, and we're kind of seeing, we are seeing that here for RSL, where Zoun, what did he have for game 1 on kill switch? Well, kill switch favors aggression on both sides, to be fair. It went for a 3-base all in, went for an AK 3-base all in, which makes perfect sense on kill switch. Here on Persivny, what did he go for? He went for, again, early Twilight Council, 2-base glaives, 4-gate glaives in towards that sentry. Crazy specialized build. Again, both games so far have been very intentional out of Zoun, with some success, with some failings. I still believe that he could have even won game 1 if there was a little bit better execution when it came to how aggressive he was being with his stalkers. I do think there was an earlier timing available to him as well. So definitely a little bit lacking when it comes to the execution. There were some mistakes were made, but overall, like, he has come in with specialized builds for game 1 and game 2. I'm hoping that trend continues. I'm hoping it continues coming into the rest of this series, and I'm hoping it continues into Evil Heart as well. So we'll see if Zoun ever plays standard. I don't think he will, to be honest. I feel like if you play standard, that's where Reynor does his best. I feel like Reynor, he thrives against standard Protoss players. There are certain maps that favor standard play. So if we load into like Tokamak, for example, I think that's a good example of a map where we could see Zoun just play standard and go into Skytoss for sure, 100%. But on these other maps, like, yeah, Zoun, he's prepared, map. He's prepared. Let's go. And Reynor, what's Reynor been? He's been in the rift. He's been lost in the rift, Mappy. Oh no. Yeah. See, this is also why, if you remember earlier, we were discussing about how it feels like we're lacking a bit of content here. I would have loved to have heard like some pre-game banter or pre-game interviews before this. Again, it's only 2 series tonight. Like, there's not a lot of StarCraft to be had. You know, just give us the content. Give us the just the flair from the players as well. And I'm hoping we at least get like a post-game interviews. I would love to hear about some of these builds as well. Like, this is where, even if Zoun were to lose, I'd love to hear about the preparation involved coming into this. Like, regardless, or even hearing from Reynor about facing off against these crazy builds. But regardless, we're going to be going on a break, a short break, and when we come back, we will have the rest of the series. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to go into game 3 here with Zoun versus Reynor, and I don't know. I mean, there's been some misplays here on both sides for sure. It seems like Reynor, honestly, when I saw that round, I thought this was going to go all the way back to the third base and ended, but not the case. The overextension was punished.
What a way to bring us back in.
Exactly.
And welcome back, everyone. Yo, these guys, they're not playing well. What?
It's been an interesting series. I feel like both in game 1 and
What?
game 2, just excellent.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the series, second half of the RSL. We've had, again, some crazy and interesting builds out of Zoun. As I mentioned before, I would love, or I am really curious to see what else Zoun has to offer as we get into game 3, 4, and 5. Do we go the distance? Do we go all the way to the ace match? Does Reynor continue to smudge? Does he dim the lights? Does he delve further into the darkness? Have we reached peak smudge, or will he go further? If anyone's going to make him smudge harder, it's going to be a Protoss. True. Not ironically.
Exactly perfect. I'm hoping that here by game number 3, as Ultralev is finally loading up, Zoun is going to have settled in a little bit and is going to be executing the way that we all know that he can do, because so far the build orders have been so cool.
They have.
And really creative.
I agree.
Yeah, this has been a lot more of a poppy PvP than the kind of slow cook I thought it was going to be from Zoun. Will he do something like this again? I guess we're going to find out.
I'm a little surprised that Tasis would say that, just because, if you remember, I made reference to Zoun being very similar to this during GSL. Like in GSL, for his prepared matches, he was also hyper cheesy or just hyper specific with his builds and came out with a lot of unique stuff.
And I wonder, to put myself in a Reynor's shoes, what kind of adjustment you make against a player like Zoun, who is just doing these kind of unorthodox strategies both in game 1 and game 2, because it feels like the timings are hitting so quickly, and Zoun has been doing a pretty good job of telegraphing something else. Like in game 1, the only till I can think of, which I'm not sure whether Reynor was either was keyed in on it or not, was the third base timing. He built it really late. It was after the Twilight Council started in game number 1, and these are very specific things you have to scout for. It's like the Nexus going down 15 or 20 seconds later, where it's like, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of going through it. They get in there. They get in there to the fact that, again, Zoun has been having some very, very specialized builds so far in both games. We'll see how that trend continues. Hoping it does.
That is not an easy task.
Reynor's Ace2 King of Smudge. Oh, no. If you,
So in this game,
if you were watching WTL, the last 2 seasons of World Team League, that's where you can see the Kings of Smudge, right? Like,
I don't think Reynor will do anything.
there's quite a number of players would embrace and even turn off the lights and embrace the darkness as the series would continue. Infamously so.
Opted for basically 2.
Reynor, he's not there yet. He's not there yet.
Game 2 wasn't an all-in, I guess, but it was basically designed to come in there and do enough damage that the Zerg is.
That was the best part of WTL. All the player cams. All the player cams.
Fatal, but anyways, you get what I'm saying. A lot of these timing attacks, pushes, or kill moves like the Stalkers in game 1.
No warp gate cancel from Zoun just yet.
Ooh, Twilight Council opener.
You would do that if you're going to be
Let's
going
go.
for Stargate, and instead he's just going to allow the warp gate to continue
Yeah.
researching on and go into the Twilight Council. If Reynor had his eyes on the cybernetics core, he could have spotted that.
Now, once again, we are looking for the gases, right? We're looking at the gases here. Last game, we stayed 3-3 in gas. It led into 4-gate glaives, into the Sentry support, into something more committed, into the Robo Immortal Blink on 2 bases. Here, we're leaning towards DTs or glaives again.
The first adept with a Robo. Huh.
Yeah. I didn't think we would have this again.
Not
but
the same
let's
build
see.
yet.
I mean, that's a
Show us the
very
main.
fast It's going to be glaives.
Show us the
Running
main.
it back. This Stalker is
What are the gases? Okay, 3-3.
Sometimes it says, I really can't let you scout me here. Like
Okay.
sometimes if you see a Stalker early on, in a situation.
So if we're keeping 3-3 in gas, either this is going to be the same build, or it's going to be glaives plus, as we mentioned before, it's either glaives plus extra gateways, glaives plus DTs. Like typically you don't need this much gas to go 4-gate glaive adepts.
Right at the start, it's like, why would you
So Zoun has my attention. Oh, going for the sentry! He's doing it!
Wait, are you not supposed to do that?
He's doing it again!
Is that bad?
well, not if you're trying to hide something, but
He's
generally
making
you
the
just wanna make
sentry.
zealots, like in StarCraft 1 and plug it up. But you know, when you get a like, see how the Stalker.
Ironically, Dark always had a bright dungeon. He did.
It's the same idea. So the glaives is coming. The adept is on the way here, and we've got some gates Does he do the sentry thing again? Or
He does.
Is this... I'm sorry, was there a sentry made? Did I miss
it's already
this?
been energy recharge,
it's
too.
on camera. What am I saying? I'm like looking at the production tab. I'm like, I don't see anything there.
You must be terrible at Where's Waldo, Tasteless.
I'm awful.
You gotta practice those games more, man.
He haven't
Early
found
Roach
any
one.
page of the book. So
Okay, so earlier Roach one out of Reynor. He is playing safe.
I'm kind of stunned that we're having the same strategy twice.
It is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's see.
We call it DT follow up.
We have a Dark Shrine now coming in. And I think
You thought I was crazy when I brought it up last game and it didn't happen. This is why we have the extra gases.
Sides on this because if he goes for a
So this is a different variation.
the Zerg may react incorrectly and assume that this is going to be, one of these.
So like, why did Light talk about DTs in game 2? What's he talking about? Because it is a common variation if you stay in gas. It's common.
I wonder if he's gonna park one of them in the main base near that ramp. That would go a long way to try to parry a potential warp prism into the main base. As Zoun is going to be canceling the first shade there, the natural expansion, and instead eyeing the third.
Okay.
The architecture of the map makes it a
Again, I love this. So Zoun, he's trying to force an overreaction to deal with the Adepts. Thankfully, there are safety spore crawlers. True. There is detection.
The distance even to shade is much further. The Spore Crawler and the 3 Queens.
And again, there's a spore because Reynor knows that DTs are a possibility when it comes to a follow-up. Like Reynor, he knows as well.
Looks like he will Tasteless.
Yeah, he's going to shade.
Oh, nice round.
How many Adepts are going to survive this?
Ooh.
Not actually more than I thought. I thought actually.
Okay, he gets in. Warp it is the main. The force field. He's doing it. But the Ravagers.
This time we do have 3 Ravagers.
Yeah,
already
Ravagers
done.
are ready.
So Reynor is prepared to bile this down. That's going to be basically putting a timer on the force fields.
He
A lot
forced-
less time to work with.
the
Still,
force
he's able to take
fields.
down the Queen. He's getting to work on the drones. Now already 7 have fallen. That Warp Prism barely surviving. Not as big damage done as we had in game number 2.
No
but
spore in the
still
main.
Pretty good. Are we going to have a recall out, actually? I feel like that would be a smart play in this instance. Maybe a little bit too late for that now. The Ling's already getting on this
Pulse
position.
connect.
Okay,
Shades
so
into the
some
mineral
more
line.
Adepts in
More
here
drones
now.
going down.
4 is enough to easily one-shot drones.
Oh, he's gonna run into spores. Quick reaction. Ooh, that doesn't. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh, he's crazy. Oh my god.
On camera,
Yeah.
maybe frustrated with the way this game is going. and
Wow,
the
he can kill the
gets
third.
taken out. Dude,
He
Zoun
can
has
kill
been
it.
So tricky
He can
over
kill
the
it.
course of this series. I don't even think we
Oh,
have a layer.
no.
I think that Spore Crawler needs to come in from the natural expansion to the third.
The Spore could just
But
be
it's already
sniped.
half HP, Tasteless. That hatch is going to go down.
He's going
Behind
for the
it, Zoun is
spore.
powering up on 2 bases.
No.
He's gonna
He
try to
gets
get
it.
Yeah, there's no way this thing can burrow here. I think this position's lost. I don't even know if the spore
Yeah.
should have been brought.
Dude,
He's
Zoun
done
is
it.
a real Protoss Protoss. This feels like
Yeah.
watching an SOS game or
He's a
something. For
people's
years
Protoss.
Such a good dirty cheese. And really, the execution with the attack was pretty good by.
And remember, this is not an all-in. He called it a cheese. This is not an all-in. You do expand behind this.
Now, is there another spore up here? Because I know he.
You
blocked
expand behind this, and then you can turn this into Archon drops.
He made 3. Yeah, there must be
Okay,
here
yeah, there's one
somewhere.
here.
But he has used files to defend.
Oof.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is.
He wants it. He wants the Roach
The lair
Warren.
only just now started.
Remember, there's no lair. There's no detection. There's
That's
other miles.
your only Spore Crawler. If the DTs somehow get on top of it before it can burrow,
Yeah,
it's
well,
game over.
Exactly. No, I mean you're in some ways incentivized to keep it where it is. I was even surprised to see the one spore scramble down the base. So the biggest mistake from Zoun, and I know he's like very much won the situation in this game, but he did lose that Warp Prism. So the second Warp Prism is out. Blink is on the way.
That is
Now,
something that is
each of
slowing
these
him down.
games- It's funny because we kind of.
If he had kept the Prism alive, this Archon drop would have been faster. So this Archon drop was delayed.
Like a minute later, like in game 1 we said Zoun was probably going to win, even though he had a shaky start of the attack, and then he overextended. In game 2, Reynor looked dead, and then Reynor shut down the attack, and then he overextended. So let's see what happens in game 3. Right now, Zoun looks to be just doing Archon drop harass.
Some of the Tasteless is leaving out is remember that Reynor had sustained brutal economic damage, which is why when he overextended he died because he had no economy to sustain himself.
Yeah,
Like there's like a caveat to what happened in game 2. As we hunt down more Overlords, that's one Overlord going down already, getting 2.
Dots of these Overlords scattered across the map. 3 of them have already been picked off. And Reynor's trying to make roaches right now. They're the most supply-intensive unit in terms of cost in the game.
Wow.
This is...
Zoun doesn't even have to attack right now. He could just chill in macro, but he's going for it. He wants to kill.
Completely kill him.
Yeah, that this should be fatal.
Oh, the
here.
Miles,
He's gonna
another
cut it.
Prism!
Somehow the
Oh
Warp
my
Prism goes
God.
down again. Wow. But the question
He
is,
takes
does
the
it matter?
Miles to the
there's so
face.
much damage here. It is a congested push.
But Zoun, he has
in the
enough.
sense that, like,
He has
the
enough
Miles are really
anyway.
connecting and getting a
Kind
lot
of.
value. But there's so
the
many
Immortals are
worlds
attacking
with the
drones.
Stalkers in the front, 17 now, almost 20 drones go down.
Yeah, he breaks through.
I think we're going to see Reynor tap out here. And Zoun is going to take the lead 2-2-1.
Man, really tricky game coming in from Zoun. GGG is called. And I have to say, the execution from Zoun looking a lot better there in game number 3.
Yeah.
And he's keeping the same trickiness. These have been 3, I don't want to say very different games, because game 2 and game 3 ran parallel up until we had that Dark Shrine transition coming in from Zoun, which also caught Reynor off guard. But if Zoun continues to execute like this, and if he has a couple more builds like this with potential branches like we saw from game 2 to game 3, adding in the Dark Shrine, and the DCs going into the third base was a fantastic addition. This could be a dangerous series here for Reynor.
What I loved about Game 3 is that Game 3 was predicated on the success of Game 2, right? The build was made to look just like Game 2 with the added flair of DTs. Even if it wasn't for the DTs, he was still getting a lot of damage. Like, he was still killing drones, he was still wreaking havoc in the main base and the natural as well. The DTs was kind of like the cherry on top, where he was able to catch Reynor with his pants down. The Queens were able to respond, but the Queens got targeted down immediately, and that was game. That was game then and there. So again, Zoun coming in with, again, like a really well prepared series. Like, that's what I want to keep like bringing it back to, and that's what I'm loving so far out of Zoun's performance here tonight. Is it does feel insanely prepared as an overall best of 5, which is why I'm excited to see what is coming up ahead of us coming into Game 4 and potentially even Game 5 as well. Because I'm not expecting like macro play at all, but it depends, because hey, what's up next? Evil Heart. I have no idea what the hell that map is. I have no idea. Let's find out together.
Was very good from Zoun in kind of a tough position, given how far he really had to shade to get in from the third base to the natural to the main base and then back into the natural.
Reynor's life better be off now. The Italian rap better be playing.
They got punished. We didn't have a lair. It was only
the Italian rap is going to be blaring, papi. Let's go. Let's go.
You don't really expect a DT follow-up to a build like that one, but Zoun made it work. And how many more tricks does he have up his sleeve?
Reynor's cam's going to turn on. The only light is going to be his laser eyes. It's going to be this light from the screen, like flickering off his glasses. True.
I mean, there's been a theme here, right? It's been, I don't want to play.
From WTL, I remember Gong Fu Bandit being a Smoge legend. Who else was very Smoge? Migs, of course. Migs, he was the Smoger, 100%. Gotta get the hoodie up, papi. Gotta get the hoodie up. Scarlet was a heavy Smoger. I remember that when a series was not going well, Scarlet would literally turn off every light in her room. Turn off all the lights and just be enshrouded in pure darkness. Oh, no. Who else comes to mind? I feel like some other Terran players were big Smurges as well. But yeah, Migs and Scarlet do come to mind.
He had to play ZvP last week, and now here he is against another Protoss player. I would look at that and be like,
Lambo did the same. Lambo. Yeah, no, yeah. I remember. Lambo, true. Lambo as well.
It's looking peak right now. This performance has been top notch, and then Zoun just kind of rug pulls it. Yeah, over and over and over again.
I want to say Estrella. I think we've seen that from Estrella as well, especially during WTL, because that was like really early in the morning.
It's kind of crazy just seeing, it's frustrating for Reynor here. The way the series has gone so far, we've never seen the macro game from Reynor. It's always been like a Zerg that has either been stopped or almost been stopped here by the explosive stuff from Zoun here. I think we're going to be hopping into this game in a second.
Reynor apparently is fighting a Mutalisk IRL.
There's a fucking fly that keeps jumping on me, and I can't catch it.
I noticed that during game number 3. He was like doing this thing. He was like trying to swat something away.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's always the worst.
Reynor, he's battling a Muta right now. Oh no.
I've had that moment sometimes in online.
Show us the battle, papi.
In Korea in the summer.
Show us the fight.
Right? And my opponent will pause. So bad. And I'm a nice guy. I'm not a trash human being. If my opponent pauses, they don't need to explain themselves. We can chill for a minute. I will give you the moment. But sometimes it goes on like 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, bro, what is going on? And then the moment they say Mogi, like Mosquito, I'm like, dude, you got all the time. Kill that thing. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes. Mosquito
Mogi,
has to die.
The Korean word for mosquito. We didn't have that many mosquitoes this year, actually.
Yeah. It might signal a climate crisis, but my skin is grateful. I haven't been very itchy. I think I've gotten literally one bite this entire year.
Those nights when you're trying to sleep in Seoul, the summer heat is hard, and then you get a mosquito that goes in your ear, and you go, well, that's it. I'm going to have 2 hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah,
You turn the lights on in your room, and it's just bright, and the mosquito is not anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, Zoun also saying, we can wait, dude. Kill the fly.
wait.
It's fine. Yeah, I remember my very first night in Korea. I remember I think I had just turned 19. I flew in like on my birthday. It was September 24th, and it was me and Illusion. We had just flown to the Startail house to train for the WCS 2012 Global Finals, which we both qualified through WCS America. And we're staying in this bunk bed in the Startail house in this very tiny room. And it's hot as hell. It's September. The summers are so hot and humid in Korea. If you've ever been to Florida, it's very similar to Florida in terms
muggy,
of climate.
Yeah, very muggy. Yeah, go ahead.
We're so claustrophobic. There's no air conditioning in the room. We open the window because, of course, right? Like at least the night cold is going to come in. It's
And
still
you're
going to be
from
humid as
California.
hell.
You're
Yeah.
from like perfect.
I'll leave the screen open and everything in California
Yeah.
too. No bugs are going to get in there. Maybe a spider or something, but yeah, we left it open. There was no screen. We woke up. I counted. It was over 24 mosquito bites on me. I went to the hospital. I literally got sick. And Illusion was the same way. We were just completely covered in mosquito bites. And we went to like the coach and we're like, what the hell? He's like, did you leave the window open? And we're like, yeah. He's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
So
Close
funny.
the window.
What are you doing?
But yeah, like it was.
Alert. See, I came from Kansas, so I was
It
like,
was crazy.
We've got mosquitoes there. We've got all the bugs.
I remember the second day.
The things that bite you in the night.
I went to the convenience stores, and mosquitoes are such a problem that you go to any convenience store in Korea and you can find the mosquito spray.
Yeah.
I walked in, and I gassed the room. Like I close the door and I stick it only in my arm
yeah.
and I spray everything down.
And as you
and
do
I
it, you
close
go.
the door. I used the whole can, and when I opened it back up again, the floor is just covered in mosquitoes. It was the most. Oh, it was terrible. I hated it. Anyway,
it was
Reynor,
glorious.
he's killed the fly, guys. We're going.
he got it. He got the fly.
It's gonna be the map Evil Heart.
Let's
All this mosquito
go.
It's gonna
trauma
be
is
the map
just
Mosquito Heart.
re-emerged, dude. I'm getting like my adrenaline is pumping right now, flashing back to this.
I was gonna say we're a little bit lucky here, at least in this part of Australia, where it's not very humid. So I didn't think I've ever had to deal with that. I'd imagine up in Queensland, it's more of an issue, as it's a literal rainforest up there. I'm sure it's more of an issue when it comes to the humidity.
Able to force the hatchery to go to where.
But okay, we're on Evil Heart. Let's go. Short rush distance by ground. Okay.
You know, him doing a little bit of controlled play, but I also.
Yo,
wonder
this
what
third base is open.
push you can try to set up here.
The hell?
Some kind of way to dictate the course of this game by forcing this.
Wait, what?
Second hatcher to third base.
This
Trying
map
to
is like all in city. Look at how open that third base is. Unless I'm crazy. Like it's. There's like 3 ways into the third.
It is really not very far. And additionally,
And
this
State's pointing
base
it out.
has by far the fewest bases of any map I've seen in Legacy in the Void.
Yeah.
And, like the entirety of the expansion, I want to say, which is like half the life cycle of StarCraft.
Like short rush distance by ground is short, very open third base. This screams all in. The map, I mean.
I think dating even back to the early stages of Legacy.
I kind of welcome this.
Yeah, me too.
I think you need to have these maps that sort themselves out and bring the game to a direction. Not all of them, but, you know, I think it's good. I think we had some of these in ASL 2 years ago.
I want to see a big pan to the third. Like I only got a glimpse of the third base, but it looks crazy.
Kind of form themselves
And the
out.
fourth base is really far, at least if you go for the northern fourth base. If you go for the southern fourth base, I think it's a little bit easier to defend.
So this is going to be a fun one to cast and see exactly how it's going to be
We
approached.
we might just never get a fourth.
And, you know, I guess when you're a Zerg player, one fear with this is that you don't have the elasticity of a crazy endless late game, right? You don't have bases after bases after bases to try to pressure, fumble, recover, expand, because, you know, you will have actually filled up your position pretty fast. And there is this inverse in the game where, you know, Zerg's trying to grow quickly.
Twilight Counts opener.
Because
So once again, Twilight Counts opener down. I do like this on this map specifically. Once again, we'll see the gases. Does he go 4 gate glaives into a third base? Does he commit on 3 and 3 with 6 in total? Does he go into DTs again? We'll see. Does he go 6 gate glaives?
On the map, and it's always on their side of the map. And so a lot of games do come down to that.
Show us what you
By the
got.
way, another Twilight Council coming in from
Yeah.
Zoun. Robo. I was going to say we're not getting the Robo, but this time we are.
Ooh, we're going to get the Robo State.
Is this going to be the same build
Only
again?
this time it's going to be 2 sentries in the Warp Prison.
There's glaives. Show us the
Glaives
gases.
again.
Oh my god.
The fact that he's running it back a third game in a row is kind of wild.
You know when you
But
see
it was
a
different.
magician and he's like,
That's what's important. It's been different variations every time.
Whoa, it's my card. And then like he's like shuffling the deck, and then he like makes it come out of your ear again. He's like, "Is he trying to get you?"
Does go for the sentry. Stays in gas.
Is he gonna do it again?
Oh.
It's the sentry too. He's gonna energy
Yeah,
recharge.
he stays in.
Essentially, you're leaving to.
He stays in gas. He might go for the DT follow-up again, or otherwise he'll just go for the same build he went for in game 2.
Instead of your credit card, and you go, "How's he doing this?" This would be incredible if Reynor got 3-0'd by the War Prism Rush. That would be insane.
So far, 4 gateways.
Zergs will be having a very hard time on the ladder. I can basically guarantee that. This is all you're gonna see for a long time if Zoun wins 3 games in a row with this build. And let's not forget that from game 2 to game 3, there was an adjustment. Game 2, it was just the pure play of
Early
the
roach run under
adepts into
Reynor.
main base with the force field. And game number 3,
6 gate glaives.
Dark Shrine mixed in.
This was the other variation.
Really
So game 1 was 4 gate glaives with the sentry, of course, with a force field. Game 2 was 4 gate glaives into DTs. This is 6 gate glaive adepts. This is even more committed.
Out of reach.
Let's go.
For Reynor. So what is the adjustment going to be here in game number 4?
6
We
gates.
have 2 additional gateways and a 3rd gas come in. So we might have a big gateway timing attack follow-up to this push.
Yeah, and this is going to be more of a basic type rush, but you know, if Reynor's like trying to protect versus DT.
So this is one of the other common variations.
Face right now. So he's like, "Oh my God, it's happening again."
All right.
I'm never going to get a hive in this series. He's going to move in. The first shade cancels. And in fact, he may not commit with this at all.
Yeah, like when you go into 6 gate glaive adepts, you don't commit early on. You threaten shades, and you build up your adept count, and your adept count gets higher than normal, and then you catch opponent off guard as they like try to drone, as they assume that they've survived the aggression, and the game is going to continue. Really important that Reynor just check for a 3rd base. If he sees a 3rd, he knows he can drone. If there's no 3rd base, he needs to make nothing but army.
As we have some positioning come in. A little bit of a supply block right now for Reynor, but those overlords about to finish, so it shouldn't be too consequential. And for Reynor, he's playing this on a very low drone count. Yes, he does have a 3rd base, but if you look at the income there in the bottom right of the screen, there isn't really any bars, like the blue arrows that point up to the top or the red arrows that point down to the bottom, signaling a mineral income difference.
Yeah, now he knows.
Those are basically equal, just because it's basically 2-base saturation for both players. And now we have so many adepts going into the main base. He does cancel this shade.
Does
so
cancel.
He's not going to try and use the concave on the high ground. Instead, just continue snowballing the adepts. And this is looking a little bit scary.
Oh, he's going for the prism.
That is
Oh my
a
God.
massive number of units.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
Gets one.
Only gets 1 Ravager. In fact, did he save the sentry? I think he picked it up.
Sentry gets saved, and so does the Ravager also with those vials.
Okay, he's going to come down here. He targets
Okay,
down the
nice
first wing. The
glaives.
second one is going to go as
Ooh,
well.
piles do not connect.
Perfect. Shade over here.
Shades into the ramp. Nice position.
This position in the natural as he's going to try to go.
Can he bile the army?
You can see
Oh, the
surface
vials.
area is
Oh my
actually
God, they do
not
connect.
bad. For the adepts, they do eat a lot of corrosive vials as they shade up into the main. There is another warpin that's coming in here to try to hit the natural, and so the rotation of
not enough damage to fight. Oh, the vials. Oh my God.
He's gonna have
The vials
those
are
few adepts
connecting.
up here in the natural. He's got 2 that really can't do that much over here now, and it seems
Reynor
like
holds.
Reynor holds it off.
Yeah.
As we're seeing everything else begin to retreat.
Yeah, considering how committed this push was.
Remember, no 3rd. Remember, there's no 3rd base for Zoun. This had to do critical damage, and it fails to do so.
It might look like a lot because he's down at 35 right now, but Zoun, this is everything. That was 6 gateways worth of adepts. He isn't taking a 3rd base. He hasn't been building probes for a hot minute right now. The first unit that he's made that hasn't been an adept in the last couple of minutes is this first Immortal. That's about to get cranked out. And so, yeah, Zoun for a brief moment did have an economic lead because of the damage he got done, but it was not worth the army that he traded. If he wants to win this game, he needs to get more done with the follow-up push.
He's not rallied the Immortal, but he's also not making probes, so this is going to be a push that he tries to close the game. I guess he wants to pocket that. I guess he doesn't want to show this. Maybe it's kind of a tempo play. Like, it looks kind of like he's just buying time.
Yeah, and 2 more gateways in production, but I must say I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know if those gateways are even going to be able to be fully utilized.
Well, the 2 gates in production confirm that it's just 2-base all in. Like, there's no other follow-up here for Zoun. He's just going to double down.
Minute mark right now, and that main base
Getting him to 8 gates.
this entire time. Okay, 3rd base in production, so I like that.
So he might want to basically mine out the main base and just do a swap with the workers, and then just try to use this to be the engine of the push. What a crazy series so far. Zoun kind of doing the same opening, but now on the 3rd branch. So he's just showing the adepts. He's got 3 Immortals behind this that he hasn't shown. Now, a lot of times you see the pushes happen with the first Immortal. And that kind of
Oh,
prompts you to be
he's going to bleed out some adepts.
second. He's got the Warp Prism coming over here now. Now, there's no way to go in the main. In fact, it really wouldn't make any sense. We have Evo Chambers.
Yeah, the problem here that Zoun, he's hoping that Reynor is too greedy, that he overdrones, that he gets a 4th expansion, that he gets up to like 70 workers, and he cuts corners. Problem is that Reynor has been staying on a low drone count and been focusing on Roach Ravager. Like, he's building up his army.
This is more, as Tasteless pointed out, Zoun freeing up more mineral patches for his now oversaturated main base. It's just going to boost the mineral income to have a little bit more power behind the push. And he's trying to also signal to Reynor, hey, look at me, I'm expanding, I'm taking a 3rd base, there's a transition coming. He's still hiding the Immortals on the right side of the screen.
And remember, it's been so many roaches. Now, Banes are...
Yeah, the problem here is that Reynor, he's in droning, right? Like, they're talking about how, like, oh, Zoun is getting a 3rd base. He's, like, showing a Maynard, so he's showing that he's expanding. But, like, Reynor, he's still very fixated on army production.
The Robo is a very interesting choice coming in from Zoun. I guess if Reynor spends all of his gas onto Ravagers, there isn't really a meaty target for the Immortals to chew through anymore if there's no more Roaches, if it's just Ravager Ling. So the Robo Bay, maybe we add in some Colossus to get some anti-light damage? Although we do have the Adepts, it's interesting.
Well, I guess he sees the Banes and he goes, okay, well, maybe we do need to switch into Colossus. Could he get Disruptor? I guess it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the Immortals are there to kill the Roaches. And, you know, Disruptors are great against Roach Ravager because they chunk up so much. It is going to be Disruptors. Okay. I kind of thought it was going to be Colossus as well.
Yeah, no, I also completely just misread the situation. I thought that we weren't going to have much of a transition from this push. I thought this really was just going to culminate.
Well, something that's really helping Zoun here is we were talking a lot about how Reynor's been fixating on his army, and that's true. Because of that, Reynor doesn't actually have a booming economy, and Zoun can actually slow this down and macro out of this. Like, it's possible.
The minimap right now, there has been an observer this entire time at the junction between the natural and the 3rd base of Reynor. So I think that Zoun just noticed Reynor never really stopped producing army. He's been staying on a very low drone count. He's only at 58 at 10 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, and that was probably the signal flare that's like, okay, let's not attack into this. Let's let Reynor attack into us. And that makes a lot of sense to transition to Disruptor. They're going to be very useful here defensively.
Okay. There's going to be a small number of Adepts that are going to
It's like Tasteless was stunned for a moment there.
Well, there's links to
I was waiting for them to start as well. Nice. I say that Lings are in position. Shorts and overs. Oh.
The force fields are fantastic. It is an uncomfortable fight over here for Reynor. He needs to get closer in here where most of his Roach Ravager can actually do damage. Some of the Immortals are kind of sticking out on the outside here. Same with this Disruptor that's going to be killed before it can actually get its shot off.
Yeah, the gateway units are standing strong here on the left side, but the right position has collapsed here for Zoun, having to retreat into the natural expansion.
Oh, the juggling.
It looks like he's going to be able to hold nonetheless.
Yes, the Zoun.
Moving forward right now, chasing down
these
surviving units.
He still takes all the buffs to the face, by the way. But he's holding.
He's going to commit fully to the counterattack here, Tasteless.
Yeah, the question is the counterattack going to be an overextension? Supplies are virtually the same right now. 100.
Zoun, he has a lead.
But, you know,
Zoun, he has momentum. He won that fight. He's pushing out. He has a Disruptor as well. Can he land the Nova? Can he land it?
And by the way, the most important thing in this push is
Reynor's in trouble.
You cannot lose that. The Rush is going to die if the Warp Prism's hit, so he has to keep it back, which means it's going to be harder to juggle with it. He's got one Immortal and one Disruptor. It's too bad the other Immortals were picked off in that fight, but that's what happens when you don't have
never goes off.
there to help.
Oh my god, nice splits.
Disruptor shot.
Very nice splits.
Yeah, shaving away one more Roach. 4 Adepts are going to shade here into the natural expansion, and that opens up the position to attack.
Oh, the Baileys! Good connections.
Good connections on the clumped up Adept. Zoun, I think, was microing there. The natural expansion did not have time to split his forces, and that's going to prompt a retreat. Behind this, you look at the income right now for Zoun. He had 1,600 minerals in the bank a moment ago, but basically no gas. So he's taking additional guys at this 3rd base. I almost wouldn't be surprised to see him take a fort just because the mineral income is so high. Instead, no, it's going to be static defense. He's going to try and play a defensive game, perhaps anticipating a counterattack here by Reynor.
By the way, there is like almost nothing mining at the 4th base here. Like, this is
so Reynor, he just droned up to 3-base saturation, just got up to 65. So this is a bit of a misread out of Zoun. Zoun is getting ready for a counterattack, but Reynor just droned up.
And, you know, Reynor, he can power up with Roach Ravager.
So now Reynor he has an economy. Up until this point, Reynor, he was kind of all in, but now he actually has an economy to work with.
Across the map just yet and try to slam Zoun.
And soon Reynor's he's gonna move out. He's gonna push.
I'm feeling the same way, but I think if Zoun goes for a 4th base, then suddenly the opportunities open up here for Reynor, because look at the map architecture of the map. The 4th base, no matter which one Zoun chooses, is going to be a wide open field where
it's an open third and an open fourth. Like it's like what is this map?
All the tons
What
of
is this?
+1 lings that are going to be on the map can just absolutely ravage these bases. Reynor, I think that is what he's waiting for. He knows that the natural expansion also is starting to mine out. Looking at the mineral patches here on the mini-map, I only see 4. Yeah, it's already halfway mined out. The main base is...
Okay, Reynor's maxing out. Reynor, he'll soon push. He has a lot of Ravagers, a lot of Banelings as well.
55 workers, but even that isn't going to last that
We need the best Novas possible. The best Novas here from Zoun.
He needs to, by the way. The games that are this, I should really say maps, create games that are like this, where it really feels like, you know, growth has to be very, very measured. You know, it's not like these maps where you're far away where you can kind of get a lead and throw 2 or more bases down or even 3 more bases down and try to press that, because, you know, you can counterattack so quickly on maps like this. So as Protoss takes the 4th, it looks like Reynor, well, he kind of ventured up there, but he's going to turn around.
They should be pushing.
He might actually grab everything else that he has and try to hit the 2
Reynor's
locations
got
at
1-1.
once. This is going to be very tough for Protoss to defend.
Yeah, there's
Bait
a
gets spotted.
lot of static defense here at the 3rd base, so if Reynor decides to use this Baneling squadron that he has hanging back right now for a counterattack at the 3rd of Protoss,
There it goes off.
He's got to be really
Oh, no
careful to
connection.
use those Banelings wisely. Is he going to go for that counterattack, or is he instead going to try and get a surround on this army? Is
that a kill?
Nexus actually did get killed there.
Oh,
Did it get killed?
I think so. I mean, we're seeing the wreckage on the ground, so it
yeah,
could
that
have
should not have
canceled.
happened.
Good point. Yeah, so that actually does go down. I like the 2 adepts.
Yeah,
coming
miscontrol
down
out of
there, shooting
Zoun.
off a couple of drones. And we got a counterattack here from Zoun. I don't feel like this is safe, but we really got to see, like, do the Banelings connect? Like, what does this fight actually look like? Good blink away.
I think Zoun has correctly identified if the game goes later than this, he probably can't win. And maybe trying to win in this
Nice Nova.
situation is an uphill battle, but he
Okay.
might as well go for it.
Oh, the
Disruptor
disruptor shots are really good.
Yeah, those Ravagers
The
very low on
Lynx.
HP. He's going to
The
blink forward.
surround.
I like that on top of the low HP Ravagers. Force Field's also completely sectioning off this army. The Biles are going to open up the position right now for the Banelings to get in. Blink on a lot of these Stalkers still on cooldown. The split here from Zoun has been good.
Oof.
I don't know, man.
Because the Biles are crazy.
A little bit more damage, and he's going to blink away as they connect in. Reynor is at 137 supply here. There's more lings coming out, but the army complexity is also greatly
my
gone
God.
down. Another blink in. Is this reminiscent of game 1 here, where he dove in a little bit too fast? I think it is.
Yeah, that blink forward not really being rewarded here as the economy for Zoun behind this is in tatters. There's very little income as the 3rd base.
If Zoun had a 4th base, he could keep this going, but the lack of 4th base is brutal for
Zoun
Zoun.
is going to have to expand out of the 4th base behind all of this, but I'm not sure that transition is going to be viable. Reynor, he might have canceled the high tech, but if he didn't, he has so many options at his disposal right now. 65 drones. He's securing a 5th base all the way down to this 5 o'clock position here on this map.
It just seems like Zoun is obsolete right now.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I don't think there's really a lot he can do.
29 out of 14 on that 3rd base. That's so painful.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. Well, I think that Reynor can wind up for another attack and probably just deny the 3rd base. You know, there's not much more as far as income that Protoss is going to have. The 2nd base is going to mine out. Think about how many games we've casted, how long they go, and then how few bases this one has had.
Yeah, although it's been very fun, I must say. I think Kill Switch and Evil Heart being voted in by our patrons has been... It's created so many unique games because we usually don't get maps that are this aggressive. They're a little bit unorthodox.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's been so fun to see these play
Lands
out.
with Solid
As it
Nova.
is here
Oh,
in Game
no.
4, it looks like Reynor is finally getting ready to...
Yeah, Reynor, he can break through now.
Out of this game, and that
We're
4th
going to
base
the
only
ace
halfway
match.
done. I don't think it's ever going to reach completion as Reynor comes in on all sides right now. A big surround. Zoun retreating into the static defense. It's fantastic positioning. The force fields are beautiful, but Reynor just has a little bit too much tasteless.
GG. Reynor takes it. We're tied up 2-2.
Maybe that fly was the problem all along there for Reynor.
True.
It's been taken
I
out.
forgot about the fly.
It's been taken out, and now he's on a better footing.
You know, I wonder, are we going to have another weird War Prison build again here? I mean, there's only so many versions versions of this that you can bring out. But it's all kind of within the same theme.
So we've seen, what have we seen so far? We've seen 4 gates glaives into the sentry setup that we saw in game number 2. We saw 4 gate glaives into DTs, and then we saw 4 gate glaives into 6 gate glaive adepts in this most recent game as well. From my understanding, that's kind of it. Like that's it when it comes to variations outside of 4 gate glaives into a third base, right? Outside of like a standard opener or even a DT based opener into an Archon drop. So there are other kind of openers you can go for off of a Twilight Council we haven't seen yet that are a little bit more macro based instead. Game 5 is going to be where? Exactly. Ley lines. Okay. Ley lines, one of the more standard maps in the map pool. You could get away with going Twilight Council here, for sure. I just realized that it looks like we vetoed all the macro maps. Like, ley lines, that's as close as you can get to macro here.
Is a Herculean task against some of these aggressive builds. We're going to be going to ley lines, a standard map here for set number 5. Match point on both sides. The winner of this upcoming map is going to be advancing to face Cure in the upper bracket semifinals. The loser is not out of the RSL Season 2, but they will fall into that lower bracket. And Zoun, he has done 3 versions of kind of the same build, just with a little bit of a twist every single time.
Right.
I like it. I actually think it makes a lot of sense against a player like Reynor, who looks to be absolutely deadly in the mid game and the late game in ZvP right now. I think it makes sense for Zoun to try and knock him off balance early on and just be like, you know what? I have these very specific, unorthodox strategy prepared. You have to deal with this. We're not going to play your game where you get to go up to a maxed army supply, 80, 90 drones, 5, 6 bases, and power up the way that you
Didn't even need to smudge. True. Didn't even need to.
So far, it has brought him to a 2-2, but can he run it back again here on ley lines? Can he throw another wrench into the works? We're going to find out. Zoun spawning as the blue Protoss here in the top right, Reynor the red Zerg in the bottom left.
So we've got the first probe headed out on the map here.
Okay.
To block off
we
the
go.
hatchery.
For a moment there, I thought we had 2 probes moving
so
out, but it was just getting the pylon.
This is the last game of the evening. I'm glad we ended up getting a little bit more value, more game time out of this series. The first one was...
We're totally getting a winner's interview, right, guys? Right?
And I guess the big question is going to be,
Smudge.
is it going to be another timing attack? You know, something with Warp Prisms, something with Blink Stalkers, or is this going to be our first proper macro ZvP?
So based on the veto process, this is the most standard map in this current series. So if we were to get a standard game, it is most likely to happen here on ley lines. I say most likely, but as they alluded to, I do favor Reynor in a standard game. Like I 100%, I favor him in a standard game. So we expect to see something different out of Zoun.
This is going to be a pitiful game
despite the
for
map
Protoss from here on out, but these have actually been pretty action packed.
Yeah, these have been they haven't been if you're a fan of macro games, they haven't been the most riveting experience, but in terms of just unorthodox gameplay and forcing Reynor to think on his feet and all these little twists and turns that Zoun has prepared at the different branches these builds can go, it has been so much fun. I feel like these have been probably the best executed 4-gate glaive builds that I've seen in a very long time. It's a refreshing new perspective on the way that build should work.
You know, if you wanted to teach somebody some advanced builds, this would be a good series because you can show somebody, okay, here's a Warp Prism adept play. Now here's a variation of that. Here's another variation of that. You know, and then you kind of see how each one plays out. And okay, so if this fails, here's sort of what you do. It might be losing from this position, but you still can try to create some advantages by trying this or that. I think the most famous first example of this in StarCraft 2 was Squirtle's group, where Artosis and I casted this, and he must have had like 7 or 8 build orders that all started out the same way, and then they went into different directions.
Twilight Council
group stage.
Oh, wow.
So Twilight Council opener out of Zoun once again, 4 games in a row. Once again, though, we're going to be keeping our eyes open on the Gas Geysers. Now, when it comes to different variations of build, if we do go for something different, then we're expecting him to pull out a gas. But we'll see. We have yet to see a DT opener, for example. True. We saw a DT follow-up, but no opener yet.
God, I'm such a nerd. I was rewatching that finals a couple of weeks ago.
It's a great finals.
To kind of get me ramped up for RSL again. I'm like, let's go back to the glory days. Let's watch some
Stays
of
in
the
gas.
best StarCraft 2 that's ever been
It's
played.
like one of the most iconic moments in StarCraft 2 is like the
Goes into
mothership
glaives.
uses the what was that called?
Oh, God.
If he stays in, I feel like we have to recycle one of the previous builds. No shot, we have something else here.
my god! Oh my god! We just do that over and over.
It's such a pure moment.
And I have my vocal cords blown out because I didn't know how to project my voice. I was like, he's going for the vortex. Oh my god, Artosis. Well, here we go. If it isn't our old friend, the Robo.
Are we going to have...
And his best buddy, the Glaives upgrade.
Yeah, I wonder...
He stays in gas.
Bear with me for a moment, because we've seen 3 different variants. I'm
We
actually
have?
going to go ahead and pause it. We don't even need to see a 4th variant here. You've shown 3 different ways this
That's
can
the thing.
play out. Just
Yeah.
go back to one of
I
them.
don't think there's a 4th variation. Like from my understanding, we're capped out. From my understanding.
Yeah, the DTs I would like to see again. I feel like that's a hard adjustment to make. And also, if Reynor tries to cover all of the bases, it has to be very clean. Because if he doesn't, then... You know,
So I imagine we have to recycle one of them, but we'll see.
DTs as a follow-up.
We're looking for a Dark Shrine or 2 more
In
gates.
terms of, do you have enough resources to deal with the initial adepts with the force field, right? There's a lot of different ways it could go. And the fact that Reynor really hasn't had time to workshop responses to this, he has to think on his feet. He's been doing that this entire series, and in a way, he kind of has been workshopping the response over the course of this best of 5. It's hard to make sure that you're making all of the right choices here as Reynor, right? He's going for the same response that he did before. It is the 3 Spore Crawlers. I feel like the timing is a little bit different than before.
This is looking like what we saw in game 2. No Dark Shrine or extra gateways. If it was going to be DTs, we've already seen it.
Okay, I don't see it yet.
Yeah, we would have already seen it.
Was there a, I think there's a sentry in there.
Oh, certainly. I don't even need a...
Mafu
doesn't have to click on it. We just know.
There's just one zealot in there. You're like, okay, that's weird. All right, here we go. Is the 4th time the charm?
Oh, Immortal immediately.
Yeah, starts Immortals.
I guess it is going to be a fourth build.
Well, we got to see. He might just make 4 Immortals and just do this again.
Yeah, but with the additional gases coming in at this timing, I wonder if we're going to have like a throwback to like a Soul Train kind of push. By the way, those force fields just completely...
Yeah, he didn't catch him. Oof.
Will we have any sentries warped in back at home? Oh, it's going to be Blink.
He's transitioning out of it.
Okay, yeah, +1 here. Again, a little bit of a different kind of push, but you know he hasn't really scratched Reynor just yet.
Yeah, and what this push does, even if you don't commit to actually shading in on any of these bases, is it really slows the game down. Also,
oh my god,
just barely out of range of
they're so flexible, Pappy.
Doing barrel rolls in
crazy.
between the biles.
It's very tricky when it's a cloak unit because you can't see the flyer helper that indicates where you have to bile to actually kill the thing. So a bit of a shot in the dark there by Reynor. Okay, we do have some adepts, 5 adepts getting shaded here into the 3rd base, but only
better get much done.
Falling.
Nice biles.
Yeah. I like the move, but it did not pay off there for Zoun as he takes a 3rd base, continues probing up, +1 Immortals. We do have a Dark Shrine also underway.
This feels very shaky, very desperate out of Zoun. This is less clean. Again, he invested quite heavily into the gases early on. He didn't really do much of it. He's going for a late 3rd base, late transition, late tech, late Dark Shrine. Everything is delayed here for Zoun. If Reynor gets into his own head too much, then maybe this can work.
You need to have those adepts where the warping is happening. You can't leave them outside like that.
Yeah, or just flush against the Nexus or something.
Yeah.
Give the Sentry an opportunity to save them with force fields. Instead, we have 7 adepts that have fallen over the last, what, 2 minutes for like a Ling or 2 and 2 drones. It is not very good. And Zoun is just getting every single Twilight tech possible, by the way. He got Glaives, he got Blink, he's getting the Dark Shrine, he's getting the High Templars right now. It's kind of wild, especially considering the 3rd base only just.
It's very messy. It's very messy here from Zoun. He can still kind of piece it all together, maybe.
You very rarely see this.
Things are looking bleak for the Protoss.
Game that I casted where we had so much heavy Twilight Council tech this early on.
Gonna go up into that storm. So I guess this was sort of the opening without any pressure behind it. Let's just develop. Let's maybe let the Zerg take a 4th base much later while we can sit on our 3rd and kind of.
Well, the problem with this being like the build without any pressure is that would have been 4 gate Glaives with less gas mining. But here we had excess gas that was not really used, unfortunately.
Doing every single game with this build, but as it is, that's not the situation. Zoun is instead developing up. He's fully saturated now on 3 bases after passing that 66 worker mark. And Reynor has not taken the bait. He is droned up heavily. He's taking a 4th base. He's going well past 70 drones.
Yeah, the hope for Zoun was that Reynor under drones again, like we saw on Evil Hearts. But here, Reynor has been droning. He's saturating. Reynor's about to max out. And once he does, he should be pushing. And it's going to be a tough hold for Zoun.
To slow the game down a little bit, but to what end? He hasn't really been able to eke out any advantage as a result of that.
That's true. He hasn't forced out that many units, I don't think. He didn't kill that many drones. And organically, the Zerg does max out here. They will need to dump some of the supply, probably by attacking into the Protoss. And then we're going to get to this Lurker tech.
Zoun is going to try to get to Skytos.
And probably some pretty sharp pushes here from the Zerg.
Oh.
And the Stargate tech now also coming in for Zoun. I'm tempted to say this isn't even for some kind of carrier or Tempest transition yet. It might even just be for Oracles to have that persistent detection on the Lurkers, because I don't see a way that he supports.
He already has the robo.
For the units that he's got already. That's Dark Shrine, High Templar Archives,
I'm pretty sure that's for Skytos.
all these Stalkers, the sentries that he's made, getting glaives, getting +2 charge. Literally every Twilight Council tech possible has been researched. I mean, charge is about to be finished, for God's sake. And with the 4th base coming in, up until this point, it's been only 6 gases, right, Tasteless? So the Stargate's done. We're not going to have any late game transition come in yet from Zoun. Instead, I'm expecting a lot of Zealots.
Yeah, I think he's going to fill that in here. Protoss is moving out, going to hit 6 o'clock. We've got Lings and Roaches for a counterattack or a flank. He's going to come in here now. Guardian Shield's procced. Oh, those some Biles actually connect pretty nicely.
Yeah, the Biles and the Force Fields
get some OK Storms.
These Lurkers are on the field, but Lurker range only just now getting researched. We do have a counterattack right now. Reynor, it looks like he's probably
forces
going
a
to be able
recall.
to get a cancel here, and Zoun desperately needed gas number 7 and number 8 because he's trying to get the 2nd Stargate done with the Fleet Beacon. I said that you probably can't afford it. I think if the 4th base gets canceled like this, you certainly cannot.
No, it's not.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like the Stargate was indicative of Skytos. Zoun, he needs that 4th base. Actually, if he can get his 4th base up and running, then maybe he can macro out of this. But
here now and try to hit this.
Yeah,
it's again still looking very bleak.
From this stage, if we can keep the core gas units alive, the Immortals, the Sentries, the Stalkers, the Templar, then maybe you can just warp in Zealots for the next 2 or 3 minutes and get some carrier production online. But it is not easy to manage this economy from Zoun. It doesn't have a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
Okay, little counterattack in over here with the Zealots.
Tempest.
Oh, it's going to be Tempest. I guess I kind of decided it had to be carriers here. Oh, I love the placement of that warp. It's just far away enough.
He knows it so well.
Yeah. He's like, nope. I got to get a couple pixels over here.
All right, 4 Zealot warping here in the main base as Zoun continues to test the waters. And although Zoun isn't getting much damage done with this pressure, he is keeping Reynor contained on 5 bases, which is very good news here for Zoun, because Reynor is also trying to play a very gas-intensive style. As long as Zoun can secure this 4th base, and I'm a little bit worried as we see another counterattack getting mustered over here in the top left corner of the map.
We've got the Nidus coming up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to be a moment
I mean, Zoun is maxing. Like, he's maxing out. We still have a lot of roaches for Reynor, so he has a very inefficient army. Like, the army supply is inefficient.
Is there an overseer?
So Zoun, he can stabilize.
Somewhere? I don't see a spot where you can easily do this. He might actually just do like a Nidus in the push just to reinforce.
I think he's just waiting for Overlord speed. I think it's a very calculated decision to start Overlord speed the same time you basically start the Nidus network.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
Then those overseers, you can see 2 of them right now in the bottom right of the screen. I think 1 all the way here in the top left. Yeah, Mampu pointing that out. And these are going to be so speedy right now. He can just set up a Nidus canal basically anywhere that he wants on Zoun's side of the map.
Okay. The Nidus is going to be right here at the natural. That's going to pull the army away from the 4th base. And positionally, this is going to be a nightmare here for Zoun. You know, that air weapons upgrade is actually happening right out here at the periphery.
Yeah, because they get within range. Oof.
He's going to hit. The Tempest can do damage, but they're not going to kill
Zoun out of position.
Fast. Oh my god, the Ravager is really eating a crazy amount of those Psy Storms. We've got action in the main here as well. Oh, excuse me, that's the 2nd Nidus that was made over there.
Nidus gets taken out. There's so many lurkers here that this Nexus has no chance of surviving.
Okay, nice run by.
Getting a lot of damage done right now. Reynor did send the Lings to clean it up, but 13 drones are going to fall. Reynor down to 59 workers.
Zoun trading well.
The economy here for Zoun isn't great. Even though he's on 73 probes, he doesn't have
he counterattacks.
Because that 4th base got
going for the expansion.
He's actually going to be coming in here with a
Zoun, he can get that base, the hatchery.
With that initial push. some lurkers are very bruised as well.
We got the attack coming up here now. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to fight.
Yeah, catching up some lurkers as well. These have been more efficient trades for Zoun, for sure.
Reynor going to be chased away. I think we have another Nidus network happening at 12 o'clock at that 5th, which I think I accidentally called a 4th a second ago, but that is the 5th base.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is to
that is the 4th, yeah.
the Tempest here for Reynor. It feels like he just doesn't even have enough supply free because the lurker count is so high,
yeah,
right?
He's got 9 corruptors.
Nice snipe on the hatchery.
You know, this is a lot
Takes on the 5th.
I think it's like 7 or something, so... And there's more.
For the past like 3 minutes, Zoun has been out trading Reynor, 100%. He's just been straight up just out trading, shutting down the lurkers, the lings. Outside of losing the base, of course.
4th base will survive. 5th base now getting thrown down by Zoun here in the
Here
top
come the
left side of
corruptors.
map. More static defense also coming in, as I think Zoun's probably a little bit annoyed. He's annoyed of these Nidus networks. He's trying to set up the cannons in position to basically...
Oh no, the Templar, no!
Oh no, these Templar. Oh my god.
Out of position.
Miswalking with the Colossi and
Oh, no.
dude, it's the same thing. So many Templars get cleaned up for free because Zoun wasn't expecting the path on that bottom side.
He was pulling off the comeback. It was happening.
For Zoun until that moment, but Reynor, oh, he is not one to miss that opportunity. He seizes it, and now he's going to lay siege to this 4th base once again.
Okay, he's going to attack it again. And, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any easy spot. No air weapons upgrade to try to punish and take away there. More corruptors are going to be made. I mean, the thing is, Zoun is still growing on the map. And you can see that really Reynor's being very cautious to not overextend. I love the Ling dive here. And could he have gotten that? I felt like he actually could have gotten that. It might have been worth it to get it. I guess he's going to know better than me, but I thought he was going to commit down onto that.
Oh, 2 more Stargates in production, Tasteless. We're going to have 4 Stargate from Zoun.
I mean, Zoun, he also does have Templar, which slowed him down, so he's stuck defending back at home instead of really applying any pressure. But Zoun, he's remaxing. He's remaxing, rebuilding, getting to +2 air attack, 2 more Stargates. Like, Zoun, he's holding his own.
Some of the key pieces, but the way that he gets there is just very unique.
Okay, he takes his Nexus out again.
Oh, +2.
And this is going to be a Cybernetics core shutdown.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, he is going to siege it down once more.
The battery's like, going to save it. I've got you.
I thought for a moment that Reynor might just retreat from that position. I had a fear of the Tempest perhaps coming down. All right, another Zealot counterattack here.
Oh, catching up the Lunkers.
The central hatchery from Reynor, just
3 Lurkers falling.
As well as a lot of work
catching roaches as well.
Base. I mean, 8 drones, it might not feel like a lot at this
Reynor, he bleeds out a lot of units.
I suppose it isn't because these bases are mostly mined out, but we're getting into a relatively low economy territory. It's 4 base versus 4 base.
Yeah, Reynor, he's still stuck on 4 bases.
And we have so many Tempest, Tasteless.
Yeah, he's got, you know, the issue always when you see an army that looks like what Zoun has is that it's slow. It's scary and it's hard to engage, but you can hit in other places. And I mean, Zoun in this game is also doing a good job, like we just see here with the Zealots, setting a small little force out there and trying to take this out. So once again, the Nexus is going to fall. I don't know what the mineral situation is.
That was a kill.
Protoss bases
no.
But you know,
Zoun,
he will
por favor.
eventually mine these out. He has to take these positions. So the Nexus is going to be remade there. I think it would be wise to make like 10 cannons there.
Yeah, he just needs to get that base up. The gas income is starting to run a little bit thin for Zoun, especially as he warps in Templar 4 at a time and tries to power up with 4 Stargates in reserve. And so he's going to be double expanding right now. Reynor is able to catch one of these, also going to use the vision to set up a Nidus Canal here in the central location.
Nice denial.
With 2,600 minerals, I'm right there with you. Just throw down some cannons and some batteries. Buy yourself a couple of seconds because these bases
Reynor, he's going for the top base once again. I believe this time Zoun is ready for it. There's an army in position.
Again, another attack here with the links coming up. The mothership is going to be in the mix. As this gets chased back. Zoun with, you know, this very death ball-y army. But, you know, if he commits somewhere, he will be sacrificing another position.
Oh, the Archon count is actually so high.
Oh, the attempt to surround? He's going for it.
Archons in total, and Reynor is going to be trying to surround this position on every side. The Corruptors are finding good connections right now onto the Tempest. Detection is here for Reynor. Corruptor is able to take down the majority of the
Tempest is going to be going down.
Zoun is winning on the ground. The Lurkers have been taken care
Get
of.
some mothership.
But these Corruptors, they are falling now to these Archons.
The Archons.
More Mortals coming in
Oh,
from
they
the
pop
north.
off.
Is there detection?
Oh
yes,
my
there
God.
is. Rainor's getting cleaned up on the ground.
He's
A big
done
grin
it.
from him. And Zoun is remaxing on Tempest, producing
The mosquito is back.
his entire bank, and he's still only 135 supply.
Yeah, and I think this may be the moment where Reynor's going to fall. We have a couple Hydras and Lynx
Wow,
coming in
impressive.
here. The Zealots need to get into the front because every Immortal, every Archon...
This was a messy mid-game for Zoun as well. Very messy mid-game, but he got there. He got there in the end.
Zoun has now separated Reynor from his 2 sources of income, the 2 bottom bases at 6.
Man, Zoun just with an insane game right now. Even recalling right now, he might lose 1 Tempest. Indeed, 1 does fall.
He's just going to regroup and attack it again. He knows he's basically got this.
Yeah, he has a base.
Just a brilliant decision there from Zoun.
He has a
Why
5th.
would you risk overextending in a position like this one? You just secured your 5th base. You're able to saturate that one up.
Just saturate
with your
the
Zealot
5th.
counterattacks. You know that Reynor's economy has been in shambles for a long time. The one way you lose this game as Zoun from this position is, say Reynor was able to remax on even more units.
Brutal Zealot run by.
Zealots! All right, Corruptors might be able to take down that Nexus. Actually,
Do
the
we
Tempest are going to be
do we
able to
trade
clean that
bases
up.
again?
This hatchery's going to fall. There's no economy. Oh, Reynor, hands off the keyboard.
GG.
Well played. Whoa. What a series.
Dude, Zoun
From
played amazingly.
Both players, that was incredible. Zoun,
Crazy.
we had 4 Adept Glaive builds that all branched off in very different ways. I mean, imagine being Reynor in that position. You keep seeing basically the same hand getting played in the early game every single time, but the follow-up is just different. And how do you concoct the perfect response in a best-of-5 series like this one? Zoun had so many variants prepared. We saw, I think, probably all 4, because he had that Link Stalker build predetermined. He's like, you know what? On one of these aggressive maps, I'm just going to use that. That'll be the one non-4-gate glaive build that I use.
So we didn't really have 4 variations. So when it came to the final game, it did look shaky. It was like this final game for Zoun was very shaky when it came to the aftermath of the 4-gate glaives. Just because he had excess gases, he delayed his own expansion. Like, it felt very shaky. This is also where I would love to get an interview with Zoun and get his thoughts on the series, thoughts on the builds of choice, and also what happened in that final game, because it did feel like a big slip up. Like, it did feel like he was freestyling a little bit and scrambling for a transition, and it was shaky. It was very shaky. Reynor, he had the advantage. Reynor, he was denying bases. He was the first to max out as well. But Reynor, he also didn't really have much of an economy. We spoke about this a little bit in the Evil Heart game, but Reynor, he very often in this series, because Zoun was playing so chaotically, Reynor, he was having a really hard time determining whether or not he could drone. Like, he was having a really hard time. Like, is it safe to drone right now? Is he about to attack? Is he not? Is he making an army? Is he not? Is he expanding? Like, so Reynor had a really hard time determining, can he drone? Can he saturate? Can he actually focus on his economy? So here in the final game, he never really had a booming economy. He was losing bases, really crucial Zealot run buys out of Zoun, but also Reynor had a really hard time droning, saturating, and also taking up as well. Like, Reynor, he was stuck with too many roaches towards the end of the game as well, like a very supply inefficient army, whereas otherwise he would want to go into spellcasters, into vipers, infestors, with your lurkers, with your corruptors as well. So Reynor also had a shaky transition into the later game because of how Zoun was playing. Not necessarily because of what Zoun was accomplishing, but just because it's been so quirky and so aggressive throughout the entire series. Like, it did seem like Reynor was very, very tentative with how he was playing out, and yeah, very unsure of himself at times.
Take the bait. When Zoun went for the same play and was greedy behind it, Reynor recognized the situation. He transitioned, but just the trickiness of Zoun. I love it, because Reynor, we saw him earlier on in a group with Classic, Astray, and SOS. He was able to take all of them out. He emerged first place in that group. He beat Classic, the best Protoss player in the world right now. And Zoun sees that. He's like, nah, I'm not going to let you play your game. I'm going to go 4-gate glaives, 4 maps in a row.
Let's go.
So sick.
So, can we get the next scene up here? Yeah, we're going to get to the next day of games tomorrow, guys. We're going to be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I got to say, man, it's been so fun doing Season 2 of RSL. Season 1, you know, there's always a couple of hiccups. Anytime you try to build it like a studio and put on a new show, there's always challenges. But this one has been so smooth and so fun. So feel free to join us. It's going to be going live at 7 p.m. KST, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we also have Season 3 just around the corner.
And not just Season 3, in December of this year, there is going to be an offline finals. And you see right there, travel and accommodation for the champions, because we are going to have players in the studio. We are going to have casters in the studio. And not just this studio, we are going to be getting a big arena for everybody. We're going to have a live audience. If you're on Patreon or if you want to buy tickets, you can come down, show up, watch a live StarCraft 2 in Seoul, Korea. Just phenomenal stuff, man. I am so excited.
It's been a real undertaking for us. I don't think we've ever really seen this, like from this not existing to where we're planning on ending it at the end of the year with a live esports event in Seoul. Basically an offline finals, 15 million won to give away to the prize pool. We'll have more information on that as we finish booking and staffing the venue. We are also sponsored by Archon Studio.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this is the second season of RSL, but it does feel like there's still... One, it feels like we kind of rushed into Season 1, for sure. Like, Season 1 did feel like it was rushed a little bit, and it still feels like there's room for growth, room for iteration as well. I'm sure that they are taking feedback and thinking about how they can improve the show and improve the event itself. I do think there is a lot of room for improvement. For example, like days like this, I mentioned before that this is a really short broadcast. This is less than 3 hours, and we're done with a day of RSL. Whereas if they want to keep the match count low, there's nothing wrong with that, but there are like other things you can do here with the show, with the players, with the studio, with the setup that you have. When it comes to like content outside of just the games, right? Interviews, discussions. I mentioned before that I do think that there's a missed opportunity, the fact that they're in Korea and they have an offline studio. There is so much in Korea regarding to players, regarding to casters, other content creators, in regards to StarCraft or even StarCraft adjacent or even ex-StarCraft 2 content creators and commentators. Like, there's a lot that can be done with a setup like that. And they were always restricted in GSL because obviously they're not in charge of the show. They're not in charge of what is showcased in GSL. So now that they have creative control, I do think that it's a wasted opportunity if they don't take advantage of that, right? It's like if they don't bring in some other people, and not necessarily the cast. I should also emphasize that as well. I'm not saying that they should bring in, you know, I don't know, like Doa, I don't, or like Wolf or Valdez, who are in South Korea, and have them into cast again. Like, maybe that would be fun a little bit, but for the most part, it'd be fun to have them in the studio, just to be able to talk about the matches in between series, right? To have that kind of discussion, to catch up and do other things as well. Like, I feel like a lot that can be done. Hope they do get around to maybe exploring that a little bit more. Interviews, of course, is something that everyone's been asking about, right? I mean, Crank is casting right now. Crank, he has really good English, you know, he is obviously fluent in Korean, whether it's Crank, whether it's Maddox, you know, getting in a translator to be able to interview, to be able to have content with, you know, some of these Korean players as well, and Korean personalities. To take advantage of it, papi. Yeah, aprovech. Ay. So, yeah, I feel like right now there's a lot of potential with RSL. I feel like there's a lot of room for growth, and I do hope they're able to meet that potential when it comes to what they make of this show, for sure. Hope so.
So, yeah.
It's been a great day at StarCraft, man.
Yes, it's been an amazing day. That's all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I just want them to recreate ANZ champs. That just run it back. And give us more ANZ champs, papi. Ay. The RSL. They should hire like... No, that's not what I'm asking for. It's not what I'm asking for, papi. They don't need lights. It's fine. Yo, they got their patrons. Let's go. Yeah, I'm wishing the best, of course, wishing the best. And we do plan on co-streaming the rest of the playoffs. We did not co-stream the group stage as we were busy casting our own events, of course. There's plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. But I do feel a little bit bad because RSL Season 1 occurred. I'll be honest, I did not get a chance to cover any of RSL Season 1, or I should say to watch any of it. Like, we're just casting all the time, and it's quite difficult to actually find the free time to cover the event in our own free time because we're always casting anyway. For example, if we weren't co-streaming RSL tonight, do you know what's going on right now? Kung Fu Cup. We'd just be casting that. we would just be casting Kung Fu Cup instead, which I think started like right now, or if not like 45 minutes ago. So if we wanted to, we could just be casting something else. But I did feel bad the fact that RSL is a big event that occurred, and I just kind of missed out on everything that occurred during RSL Season 1. So I wanted to be there for RSL Season 2. We, of course, have permission to co-stream, so not like we're doing this out of nowhere. Like, no, we have permission to co-stream. Co-streaming is like kind of like a viewer party-esque kind of experience, so that's why we're like adding a little bit of flavor commentary on top of the casters themselves. That's also why I'm not muting them or anything like that, because that's not the purpose of this stream. So again, just a co-stream like we have done in the past for DreamHack or with EWC. So again, we do have permission, and we do plan on co-streaming the rest of the playoffs at least. And we'll be doing the same for Season 3, ideally. Co-stream the playoffs, maybe stay away from the group stage just because, you know, there are other events going on that we have to cast. So that's the plan moving forward at least. They don't need light, they need smudge. True. But otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the broadcasting. Up next, we do have some more StarCraft, of course, as you can see here on my right. We just wrapped up with the Thursday evening cast, and we have the podcast slated to begin in less than 20 minutes. In around 15 or so minutes, we should be live with the podcast. That is our weekly talk show where we talk all things StarCraft. So again, we do host this on a regular weekly basis, and we have decided to move the podcast to just after RSL. So this stream should actually go down for like a second and then go back up. So it should go down for a couple of seconds, then come back online, and we should be live with the podcast to go over all the news and all the events of the week in StarCraft. Let's go. That is the plan. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. The stream should be going back online. Thank you. Just reaching out to make sure that that happens. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. When it comes to the rest of the weekend, as you can see here, we have 4 days straight of RSL. We have Galaxy Cup tomorrow night after RSL, and we have Maestros of the Game also Saturday and Sunday night after RSL. So again, if we weren't co-streaming RSL, we'd probably just be doing Kung Fu Cup into all this, or hosting other events, casting other events. Because these are going to be back-to-back evening casts, that's also why we're leaving the mornings open so I can sleep. Because it's going to be, bam, RSL into Maestros, or RSL into Galaxy Cups, or RSL into the podcast. So that's why the mornings are being left open for the end of this week. It is nice to get some sleep. It's nice to get some veg. A little bit, Pappy, a little bit. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Horse Loco in the chat. God, Pappy, God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 31. That's a lot of months, Pappy. 31 months. You're crazy, Pappy. You're crazy. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Este Horse Loco. Gracias, Pappy. Gracias. It's a different flavor of stream, and variety is the spice of life. Yes. Different flavor. A little bit more laid back, a little bit more chill. But with that, so we are going to be heading off for a moment. Un momento, papi, un momento. And again, we're going to be going live in a couple of moments with the podcast. See you then, papi. See you then.